Hey guys, we are back again for another year of Charlotte Observer High School sports videos. Can you believe it?
Feels like it was yesterday.
This is Corey Inscoe. I'm Langston Wertz Jr. And we're going to get right to it. Sweet 16, Corey, there are 5 losing teams in Sweet 16. What is up with that?
I think that just shows the kind of schedules that teams are making these days this year. Playing a lot of tough teams first game. So a loss isn't necessarily a bad thing. They played a team that maybe they were expected to lose to, or was a really tough team that doesn't really show that they're need to drop in the poll. They're just playing some tough schedules and have a loss early in the season.
And the team he's really talking about is Charlotte Christian guys. Charlotte
Absolutely.
Christian played Mallard Creek last week, gave Mallard Creek all they wanted, had a lead for a long stretch of the game. And Mallard Creek is a team that can't get anybody to play them. I mean, their threads on message boards, will anybody play Mallard Creek? And Charlotte Christian not only played them, but gave them a game. And a lot of people feel like if Charlotte Christian had 10, 12 more players,
right,
that game could have gone a different way.
Absolutely. I mean, in the first half, when you saw the ones really playing the ones a lot, I mean, it was very even. I mean, Mallard Creek made a few mistakes to not have the lead at halftime, but in the second half, really, it was just the depth. They didn't have some of the guys out there. Where Mallard Creek, has a lot of big linemen. They can kind of keep switching people in and out, stuff like that. Christian didn't have it. You saw a lot of guys on the sideline getting stretched out from cramps and stuff. So they just didn't have those main guys out there. So, that's where Mallard Creek had the advantage with that depth in the second half.
Well, there's not a lot of changes in the Sweet 16. More of kind of a shuffling this week. We added one new team, I believe, and it looks like things are going to settle down as the year goes on, as it does every year.
Right.
But at the top of the poll are 2 very familiar teams that are going to play on Friday: Mallard Creek, Butler. Too big to play at Butler, so we're going to go over to Providence.
Yeah.
What do you think about that game?
I think it's great. I love that they play early in the season again. I mean, it's just really fun to see where those two teams are at so early in the season, kind of get that test out of the way.
It's the 6th time in 4 years they played.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know.
In the last 2 state semifinals they played.
Yeah. It's a good preview for that kind of stuff.
3 semifinals this year?
I would guess so, yeah. I mean, I don't really know.
Guaranteeing it?
I'm not guaranteeing it. It's the second week. It's hard to guarantee stuff. But there's a lot of, those are the teams that I think could challenge them, but I really think Butler and Mallard Creek look like the 2 best teams in the area right now. We'll see what happens Friday.
Speaking of top teams, Independence thinks this is the year they're getting back to being the old big eye. I know the one game last year they didn't get to wear the big eye on the helmet because Coach didn't feel that they deserved it. Is Independence back to being what they used to be, or is South Meck not quite the new South that they told everybody they were going to be?
That's what I was trying to think about too when I saw that score. I didn't get to see the game, obviously, but it maybe a little bit of both even. I mean, I think Independence looked pretty good last year. I thought they were going to have a better season last year than they did, and I think they have a lot of those guys back. I mean, Kelvin Hopkins looks good in the quarterback position, and maybe South Meck's not quite where they need to be yet. I mean, they got some good players over there too, so maybe it was a little bit of a combination. But I think Independence has a chance to make some noise in Southwestern Florida.
Independence has to beat Rocky River, has to beat Butler, but those are the 2 games I think are going to make or break their regular season as they get ready.
Those are big games for those 3.
What about a team like Huff that looks fantastic in spots against Sun Valley? Now going to play Mooresville, which looked phenomenal, beating West Rowan 49-21. It's going to be Mooresville's big-time running game with the Keys ranking against Huff's defense and Mr. Bishop Ford, this new kid from Gastonia, had a huge game. Talk about that game a little bit.
Yeah, Bishop Ford looked great. I mean, I hadn't seen him play at Gastonia. He looked great on that game. I mean, Huff really seemed to have control of that game the whole time. I mean, Sun Valley really couldn't get a whole lot going. The running back was doing really well for Huff. Funderburk had a few big runs, but nothing really too huge. And
Brother had a big run.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. The cornerbacks at Huff, I mean, those defensive backs are ridiculous. So.
Well, that's the thing. Mooresville isn't really going to challenge them so much with the pass. They're going to make sure they're going to see if these defensive backs can come up and tackle, or they like Deion Sanders just want to come up and kind of dive and miss the guy. So that should be an interesting game. I still think that'll be a high-scoring game. I think it'll be in the 30s for both teams. I see Huff winning, but I think it's going to be in the 30s for both teams. So I'm giving away one of my predictions for the week. He went undefeated in predictions.
Started strong.
I was in last place. I don't know what happened.
Certainly.
We're going to figure that out. Also this week, we have Northwestern, Charlotte Catholic. Another big interstate matchup is going to be huge. I mean, who do you like in that game?
That's tough. Last year when they played, Northwestern really, pretty much had control in that game, but also Catholic had a lot of injuries on the line and things like that, which they've got those linemen back. They seem to be they played pretty well on Saturday. What I worry about is that the weakness that seemed like for Catholic was the defensive backs. I mean, the problem is the quarterbacks able to get some deep, they were able to get some deep passes on there, and that's what Northwestern does. I mean, they throw the ball around like crazy. So that's what worries me.
I would agree. I think Catholic got caught peeking into the backfield quite a bit. And Coach Bruce Harden in Providence Day is one of the best coaches in North Carolina history, just period. And he had a great scheme for Charlotte Catholic. But much like the Charlotte Christian game, I feel like Providence
Yeah.
Day just didn't have enough athletes
Yeah.
to play with Catholic in the latter stages. And Jared Anderson of Charlotte Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
they may have lost Elijah Hood. I'm not saying Jared Anderson's Elijah Hood, but he's a breakaway threat. I mean, he can really hit the hole and get moving.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Catholic's going to miss too many beats. I think this game will be closer than many people expect. I know Northwestern is not what they were last year.
Right.
But I think that Burns score, that 30-6 early, was maybe a little bit out of whack, and then Northwestern came back and made it close later on. But I think this game will go down to the wire and be really close. Also this week, West Charlotte, West Mecklenburg, big time West Side rivalry, big bands, big crowd. West Meck's won 2 in a row. West Charlotte's won the 3 previous. That should be a big game. Mo Collins looking for his first win at West Meck. And we also have, I'm forgetting, Victory Christian South Lake. That's the one. The last 2 state champions in Division III playing each other, and each team beat the other team to win the state championship. Randy Moss's son plays for Victory Christian. South Lake has one of the best running backs in the country. What do you think about Robert Washington taking on Victory Christian? Who's going to win that?
I think there'll be a lot of points in that one.
Well, it was 7-0, I think, last year in the state.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, they had a defensive struggle. But yeah, you would think there'd be a lot of points scored. Victory Christian, I hear, is loaded. I hear the basketball team is extra loaded. So that should be a fun game. So we have a decent week of games coming up as we get into the season. And hopefully the Sweet 16 will shake out a little bit more. But I think end of the day, the same 2 teams are going to be at the top that we started with.
There we go. Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week.